Once a year, the global space community comes together at the International Astronautical Congress, the world's premier space event. In its 70-year history, the UAE is the first Arab country to host the event. Representing South Africa is ZA Space, the industry body representing the South African space sector. Newzroom Afrika's Jacob Moshokoa was in conversation with the director, Davis Cook, and filed this report.
So now the conversation switches to everything that's got to do with space. This year's 72nd International Astronautical Congress, as well as the work that ZA Space does. That's what we're chatting about at Expo 2020 Dubai. And I'm joined by Davis Cook. He's the director of ZA Space. Davis, thank you for your time and thank you for joining us on the Dubai desk.
Welcome, thank you.
Now, tell me something. ZA Space, what do they actually do?
ZA Space is the representative body for the South African private space sector, and we're interested in acting as a central point to support the industry grow, to lobby with government, and to basically help the industry reach out and develop as a sector within South Africa.
Okay, now that we know what ZA Space does, what does the IAC do?
So the IAC is the premier congress and conference for the global space industry. So we have, people from, many countries around the world who have active space programs, the US, Russia, China, all these different groups, startups, there are academic institutions, and it's an opportunity for people to interact and engage with space enthusiasts and entrepreneurs and practitioners from around the world.
Now, how active is South Africa in this space? You're talking about space enthusiasts. How active are they?
So we actually have a really long history in space. We built some of the first satellite tracking stations in 1960, so 60 years ago. Wow. And even today we have an industry that is the major upstream, so satellite component manufacturers on the continent, and dozens of companies involved in this. So it's small, but it's a surprisingly active space.
Now let's look at the South African space sector. What's next? Because there's always new developments.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm thinking coming out of something like Expo 2020 Dubai, rubbing shoulders with the right companies and the right people, what's next for our sector?
Great. So we have three or four really exciting projects. SANSA, which is the South African National Space Agency, is in the process of developing a $300 million space infrastructure hub that will help to develop local talent and sort of capabilities in the sector. We've recently established an agreement with Roscosmos, which is the Russian space agency, to do satellite debris tracking, so making sure that essentially the pollution in space we can deal with. And there are new MOAs being signed with countries like the UK or Luxembourg, Brazil, Portugal, to kind of build a more collaborative global space sector.
Where does the SK project come into play? Is there any collaborations there?
Sure. So the Square Kilometre Array is a kind of a massive deep space astronomy project. It's much more on the science and academic research side of things. So there's a strong connection between the work that SKA does and ZA Space, but we're a little bit more commercial and SKA is a little bit more academic. But I mean, it's an amazing, amazing program.
Director at ZA Space, Davis Cook, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, that's Davis Cook telling us a little more about where South Africa stands when it comes to the space race, if you might say. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Jacob Moshokoa at Expo 2020 in Dubai.